Okay everyone, today I'm going to show you how to do this worksheet, which is the colored pencil technique for blending different colors together. You should have 6 colors, which will make your life easier: red, yellow, or red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. If you picked up a pack of the color pencils from me, it's a 12 pack. There's some extra ones in there, but you really just need these 6, the primary and the secondary colors, to make this work. So what we are going to be doing is transitioning and blending colored pencils together so that we learn how to color with them better. So up in the top here we have a color spectrum which goes all the way from red through the color wheel to our violet, which would kind of wrap around. So in order to do this, we really just want to work slowly with our colored pencils, and you want to make sure that you're kind of holding your pencil more like a coloring tool rather than a writing utensil. So I don't have it up here and I'm not trying to write something. I'm holding it kind of back on the far side and I'm making like sweeping circular motions so that I get a nice smooth result with my colored pencil. Okay, so I'm just going to work through my red. Try to stay in the box if you can, but really, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the transition. So you're going to have to kind of go back and forth. So I have my red. My next one is red orange, which you should know is a combination of red and orange, right? So I could have you do this entire thing with only red, yellow, and blue, but I'll let you get off the hook a little bit and use our orange. So now I'm starting into my red a little bit and using my orange to come through. And I actually need to go back to my red because I need to bring this red orange a little bit farther. And I really want to make it nice and solid. The surface that you're drawing on will make a difference as well. So try to have a nice smooth surface, or even put another piece of paper underneath where you're working so that you don't kind of get the lines of the surface you're drawing on, which is kind of happening here with me. So I'm going back and forth between my 2 colors in this kind of circular motion. You can't really see too many lines of pencil. That's what we want to avoid. We want to just have it nice and solid. And I'm using about medium to firm pressure here, okay? I'm working through my color spectrum. And you may have to kind of go back and forth. Okay, so now I'm coming down to my yellow-orange, so I'm lightening up my pressure on my orange here because I'm going to want to start to add in some yellow. I'm just going to take this a little bit farther. Grab my yellow and start blending that in. And I talked about kind of like the good color pencils and the not good colored pencils to use. The best brand that you guys can afford probably right now would be Prismacolor, which they have a different range. They have a student grade, they have like professional grade, but Crayola, this is what I'm using with Crayola, so it works just as well. The yellow is a tricky one, right, because it's so light, so you really are gonna have to kind of go back and forth to make sure the colors blend nicely, especially into the yellow. So I'm barely putting any pressure on this orange, but I just really want to get that transition. I'm gonna go down the line. I'm gonna just speed up a little bit so you guys can see this one done. And remember, back and forth. So I'm going to start light with this green because the yellow again is a little bit tricky since it's such a light color. Almost no pressure, but almost too much pressure already on that green. And you really need to get a nice solid layer of color pencil on here. So I'm going to have to go back to my yellow and kind of work this line because I don't really want to see the transition. And this is kind of where a good color pencil and a not so good color pencil come into play. So Crayolas are all right, like I said, but you can tell it's hard for me to blend. If you have a nicer colored pencil, you'll get better results, and they're a little bit softer, so they're easily blendable. Okay, so now I'm coming into my blue-green, so I'm going to bring my green in a little bit farther. Grab your blue, make sure you grab the blue because the blue and the violet look similar. And I'm starting with light pressure because I can always add more. kind of my circular motion. Really see that transition there. I probably need to darken up my green a little bit. Bring that a little bit farther. Oops, I grabbed the purple. And then bring it a little bit farther because now I'm transitioning to my blue violet. And lighten up a little bit on the end. Grab my violet, start light. Okay, so a nice transition between all 6 of the colors. So you're basically creating the tertiary colors, right? The blue violet, the yellow oranges, by just using our primary and our secondary colors. Okay, then down here we have complementary colors. And if you you never learned this, complementary colors, when you mix them together, so when you put them next to each other, they pop out. But when you mix them together, technically you get brown or some type of black, because it's really like 3 colors mixing together. So I'm gonna take my first color, which is red. I'm gonna have it more dense down here, but lighten up kind of in the middle, because I'm gonna have to go back and forth. And then I'm gonna have my green on this side. Kind of my circular motions again. I want to try to get out as much of the paper behind it as I can and kind of bring it to the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to have to work it kind of back and forth till I get a nice transition. It goes from red to this kind of junky color in the middle to green. Okay, so you're going to do this with all 3 of these sets of complementary colors to see what kind of browny color you get in the middle. And then we're going to blend primary colors, which we will get our secondary colors in the center. And then we have color temperature. So we have pink to red, we have light green to dark green, light blue to dark blue. So this will be the addition of white and black, which is in your color pencil packet. If you picked one up from me or you got one from the store, you will have these. So we know that red, right, plus white equals pink, which is a tint that you learned about. Okay, so I'm going to start with red down here, make it nice and solid, and I'm going to lighten up because I'm going to want to blend into my white. And again, like white you can't really see right on the paper, but when you start blending it with our red, we will see it happening. And I need to bring that red farther. And white's kind of a good blending tool when you're using color pencils. So barely any pressure on my red here, okay? You can see that line there. I don't really like that. But again, with Crayola, we can only blend so much. So we're just gonna go back and forth until we get a nice smooth blend transition. They do make special blending pencils. I have some in the classroom that kind of help carry a color without changing it. So it would help blend a red without turning it into pink. Okay. Light green to dark green would include your green, right? And we probably would need a little bit of white and a little bit of black. So I might start with green in the middle. And I know I'm gonna need some over here. And I'm gonna need a little bit over here. My light, just kind of plan it out. Probably need a little bit more on my dark side. And then I'm gonna go over with black. Okay, I'm gonna go back and forth between my colors to blend it up, make it nice and solid. Kind of circular oval motions, right? And I'm gonna come back with my white. Try to blend this into a light green. So these are really tints and shades that you learned about also. Okay. I'm gonna go back and forth from light blue and dark blue. So this whole thing should be finished by the end of your period today. All right, thanks guys.